Since the creation of the internet, every industry has been turned upside down. Amazon changed retail. Uber changed transportation. YouTube changed video forever. With the invention of crypto, money is next. At the speed technology is growing, the future of money and securities are digital. 9 out of 10 millennials do not trust banks. The value of money relies on trust. Government debt is higher than it's ever been before. Central banks continue to print money. Fortunately, the world has a new solution. Experts predict in 7 years, 10% of the world's economy will be in crypto-based assets. Today, 1 billion people have access to the financial industry. Crypto is about empowering the other 6 billion people by banking the unbanked. Do not underestimate this. Do you wish you invested in Google, Amazon, or Netflix before anyone ever knew about them? $1,000 invested in Netflix turned to over $500,000. At Token Metrics, we help you find the next Netflix. Token Metrics users think differently about investing. They are early adopters looking for financial freedom. They are people who see a better world. A world without international borders. We believe in a world where everyone has access to the next financial revolution. At Token Metrics, we are creating a bridge that gets you to that revolution. We will help you make sound investments in this new world. The world's best investors do not rely on their intuition. They embrace technology and AI to invest. Token Metrics uses AI to find invisible patterns in data to help you invest and trade in crypto. In the past, we have used our data-driven system to achieve financial freedom. Now, we are giving you the keys. We created Token Metrics to be the only platform you'll ever need to make money in crypto. We give you AI and access to crypto experts at the best price. The moon is not the limit. To the moon and beyond.
Disclaimer. Token Metrics Media LLC does not provide individually tailored investment advice and does not take a subscriber's or anyone's personal circumstance into consideration when discussing investments, nor is it registered as an investment advisor or broker-dealer in any jurisdiction. Information contained herein is not an offer or solicitation to buy, hold, or sell any security. The Token Metrics team has advised and invested in many blockchain companies. A complete list of their advisory roles and current holdings can be viewed here at tokenmetrics.com/disclosures.
All right. Happy Sunday. Hello, crypto family. Hope you're all doing well. Hello, Bill. Hello, Forrest. How are you?
Ian,
Great.
hi,
How about
doing
you?
well.
All right. How's your weekend? Bill?
Going good. Just got done watching the Euro Cup. Had fun.
Yeah, what a game. So, which team was yours? Italy or England?
Well, I'm from Jersey, so I was partial to the Italians, but I do have a lot. I do have a lot of colleagues in England, so I played it kind of neutral.
All right. How about you, Forrest? Did you watch the game?
I didn't. I was doing yard work all day,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
So I was pulling for England. For those who don't know, I actually lived in the UK briefly as a kid for 2 years. But in typical UK fashion, they always lose, or in typical England fashion, they always lose. But anyway, welcome. So let's kick the show off. Today's topic we'll be covering
where's crypto market going next? Bill and Forrest will give you their insights, our insights as well. And then TikTok banned crypto. So let me actually pull up the presentation here. Apologies. Okay, so go to menti.com, menti.com. Use the code 14258199. That's 14258199, and post your questions. And be sure to catch us online on Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, our podcast as well, which is very, very popular, and Facebook. Okay, so first person on the live stream was Michael. What's up, Michael? Billy, Chris, Aronson, Walshy the musician, Alpha Diallo, what's up? Thank you to everybody who came to the New York Crypto Night, the meetup. It was great. Great people, great turnout. Food and drinks, great connections. Definitely love New York City. Thank you for coming to the meetup. And this is being brought to you by Token Metrics. So be sure to check out Token Metrics by going to tokenmetrics.com. All right, so also be sure to check out Token Metrics TV. If you love the live streams every single week, catch us on TMTV. We're posting daily content. I have a video probably coming up on Moon Mission where I'll probably cover Helium staking. I know that's been very, very popular. So I'll go through and do a video on that and showcase how I plan to stake on Helium. Then Bill has his market updates 5 days a week. Forrest has a video on how to draw trend lines, which has been very, very popular. Jad has a video on tail hedging. Then we have 5 new projects. Then we have Crypto Roundup. Okay, that being said, let's go to Bill with the market update.
All right. Do you see my slides? All right, everybody.
Yes.
Good evening. This is Bill Noble, and this is your market update. Time to wake up. Can a rally sneak up on people? Yes, it's happening as we speak. Okay, let's go to Bitcoin. Not much to look at, right? Well, maybe not. They tried to press it towards 32K. A lot of my Gann work shows that 32K is really decent support. This chart shows that Bitcoin really should attack the top of the previous fourth wave at 42K rather. 36K should be the minimum. I think synthetics, audio, and a lot of other symbols are showing you what happens when supply dries up. In other words, when the last seller has sold to the guys with diamond hands, what happens when the next buyer comes in? The answer is stuff goes up 5, 10, 20%. Okay, MicroStrategy. A good leading indicator of Bitcoin is going to be at a really important level Monday morning around 635. If the equity market is stable, MicroStrategy can stay above 635. It could move to 900, and I would assume that goes along with a big move up in Bitcoin. Coinbase's stock, Coin, is also forming a base. So for live stream listeners, the bigger the base, the higher into space. Coinbase's stock has been hanging around here since mid-May, 2 months of sideways action. I think if Coinbase's stock takes out 255, it can go much higher. Okay, ETH, a pretty simple approach to TA. This is the second time that they have tried to press ETH down below 2,100 or 2,000, that zone. Now, the last time they tried to push it down below 2,140, it failed, and it actually managed to do some good work on the upside up to 2,400. In this particular case, you look in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a yellow rectangle showing how many times, how often they've been trying to push ETH down. They push it, and it's not breaking. So if they're trying to break it down, you're selling your ETH to somebody with diamond hands. And then it turns around and starts moving up, led by DeFi coins like, ta-da, synthetics. Okay, we've been pounding the table on this. Single-digit synthetics like single-digit sushi, like single-digit everything is laughable. Okay, synthetics is up a lot. It's up a lot today, but I don't see any resistance until 15. Keep in mind, this coin was at 28. Also keep in mind that the future of derivatives and Wall Street is on the blockchain. Yeah, I know I sound like a broken record. Yeah, I know I said it all the way down. Yeah, I know I'm not going to stop saying it. Okay. The future of Wall Street is on the blockchain, and that trade in synthetics has started. Okay. DeFi perp. Okay. DeFi is just getting going. Synthetics compound leading the way, but the DeFi perp futures contract, in order to get to major resistance, in order to get to its previous fourth wave, in other words, the point where we test whether or not the uptrend is shifting, okay, that level is 2315. DeFi perp is at 1641. Okay, so you can have something like a 20 or 30% rally in DeFi and not even be like at resistance. So there's just so much room to move higher. Okay, Audio was pounding the table on this. We released to our customers Altcoin Quarterly, where we featured this coin when it was down at 60 cents and no one wanted it. The previous fourth wave or minimum upside target, perhaps, is $1.36. So once Audio starts trading like synthetics, I think this behavior is just going to breed itself, meaning once you start to see things gap up, they're going to continue to gap up. Why? The supply's gone. The supply's gone. Everybody puked out their crypto to people who aren't selling it back to you. So when you go to buy, who's there to sell? Nobody. Nobody. And that's why prices rise the way they do, because buyers have to bid it up until somebody's willing to sell. Okay, NFTs. Frequently on the stream and Token Metrics TV, I've been telling people not to give up on NFTs. Headed into the American football season in August, where athletes and games will be back in packed stadiums. Now, I know every NFT play is not about sports, but I don't understand why everyone gave up on NFTs. Here's an example. At Bitcoin Miami, we ran into a group of people doing NFTs the movie. So it was me and the Token Metrics TV crew. We interviewed the group doing a movie that's going to be on Netflix about NFTs. And it was the lowest rated show of anything we did in Miami. Everyone gave up on NFTs. So, of course, the thing that everyone gives up on, okay, AXS is probably the best symbol. Somebody showed me this at 11, and I didn't really pay attention, and now it's at 18. So it can go as high as 22 or 29. The bottom line is don't give up on NFTs. Rarible, possibly doing a sideways breakout, a very low cap NFT play, could go as high as 14. Okay, Flow is at resistance at Flow is at resistance at $19.87. But look where it came from. It bottomed at 6. Again, does this look like a dead space to you? No. There are going to be opportunities in the NFT space. Okay, CHZ, same thing. A break above 27 cents. And this can get going again. Keep in mind where these things came from. It came from 80 cents at the top. Small cap DeFi play, Monte Carlo DEX, MCB. We talked about this. It continues to move higher. We talked about it at 14. It's now at 20. It could go as high as 32. All right, now, I always like to keep things balanced. Obviously, we're a pro-crypto group, and the charts seem bullish on crypto. If equities stay where they are, okay, so equities went down, and then there was a reversal trade. Sometimes that can be a little dangerous at the top, but if equities stay stable, okay, it can be very, very good for crypto, right? Equities are in a little bit of a weird space, so if they can hang in there, it's very bullish for crypto. Now, later on, we're going to discuss what happens when crypto companies go public. In my opinion, when you see a big crypto company go public, the day it goes public, that's when you want to take a look at your Token Metrics TV shows about risk hedging using options. It's my opinion, and I worked on this with somebody who I respect, that when a crypto company goes public, it's temporarily bearish for crypto because people switch from crypto into the stocks themselves. However, again, that is a dip buying opportunity. So let's sum it up. Can this market sneak up on people and go up a lot? Yes. Can it go up more than people think? Yes. Should you buy on red? Yes. Okay. Should you learn lessons from synthetics and audio about what happens when supply dries up and people start coming after things? Yes. And that's the market update, folks. We'll see you next time.
All right. Thank you, Bill. So if you enjoyed that market update, be sure to check it out by going to TMTV to catch that every single weekday. And be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a friend. Not being in crypto is a financial crime. So with that being said, let's now segue to Forrest for the next segment.
All right, can you guys see my screen okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. So I have a lot of tabs to get through here, so I'm going to be talking very fast. There's a couple things we need to understand. We need to set the backdrop, and the argument that I'm making here is that crypto is undervalued compared to other asset classes at the moment, given the current macroeconomic circumstances. Two things you need to understand. 10-year Treasury note yields pretty much at an all-time low. Interest rates are extremely low. I'll get rid of that. They've printed a ridiculous amount of money. Now, there is a large gap in this chart because they changed the way they've calculated it, but they've recently, over the past year and a half, pretty much doubled the money supply. Now, if you did a stock split, or let's just say Apple did a stock split, right, and they doubled the supply of their issued shares, what would you expect to happen to the price? The price would be cut in half. The value of each share would be cut in half perfectly by 50%, and each person would get double the amount of shares. That's how a stock split worked. Well, they've just doubled the money supply, but you didn't get double. Your dollars didn't double. The number of dollars in your bank account didn't just magically double overnight, right? So they're devaluing the dollar. We've got inflation coming in. We've got inflation rising. Basically, nobody wants to hold on to dollars, and because of that, people are willing to buy value assets for a risk premium, right? So people are paying an excess amount of risk in order to be invested in stocks, equities, gold, silver, real estate, cryptocurrency, or they should be in the case of cryptocurrency, but I'm going to make the argument that cryptocurrency really isn't trading in a bubble. So first, let's take a look at Bitcoin. For one, if we subscribe to four-year market cycle theory, and there's two major theories when it comes to cryptocurrency market cycles. You've got the four-year cycle theory, which we've got outlined here. Each of these cycles between the dashed lines is 4 years. And the alternative theory is lengthening or expanding market cycle theory, which would say that each market cycle is growing in the length of time. Well, currently, we're at about 3.5 years from our last peak in January of 2017, or December of 2017 or January of 2018, right? In terms of Bitcoin, it would be in December, right? So we still actually have 161 days, give or take, left in this market cycle if we subscribe to four-year market cycle theory. When it comes to lengthening market cycle theory, we would actually have more time. How much more time? That's uncertain. Well, can Bitcoin make a large move, and can the total cryptocurrency space as a whole make a large move in the next 161 days? Let's go back to 2017, and let me remind you that Bitcoin ran from $3,000 to $19,700 in 91 days. The vast majority of the gains come at the end of the market cycle. The same thing happened at the end of the previous peak of the previous market cycle. So with time left in our Bitcoin market cycle, or total cryptocurrency market cap space market cycle, is there time left on the clock for Bitcoin to make a massive move? Absolutely. Now, we can measure fair value a couple different ways. We've got logarithmic regression bands here, and I would say anything between the green and the red regression bands is fair value. Bitcoin is trading just under the red regression band. right? So if we measure fair value using these regression bands, Bitcoin isn't actually trading in a bubble right now. It recently was, but it's no longer. It's right on the edge of being in a bubble. But given the fact that the outgoing supply of Bitcoin just halved last summer, the halvening cycle, and the state of the market the state of the macroeconomic situation that I just explained to you with interest rates being very low, right? And the fact that they just printed a ton of money and people are willing to pay premiums over fair value for asset classes, and Bitcoin being a very, very solid store of value, we would expect Bitcoin to be trading in a massive bubble. Yet it's not trading in a bubble. And if we use the stock to flow model, one of the most historically accurate models for anticipating the fair value or measuring the fair value of Bitcoin, we're actually undervalued. The stock to flow model has us valued fair value right now at roughly $85,000. Yet Bitcoin's trading at $35,000. That is absolutely insane. So regardless of what fair value model we use, we're seeing that Bitcoin is trading not at a premium at all in terms of where it should be in terms of risk. Now, let's go to the total cryptocurrency market cap and let's look on a logarithmic chart. And I'm going to start flying through these slides, but there's one concept I want you to understand. We can measure fair value with a trend line because we're measuring the growth trajectory of this asset class, total cryptocurrency market cap, right? We have tons of data points along this trend line to suggest that this would be a conservative measure of fair value. Then we can take measurements in terms of days to fair value. That's where we're at right now, 406 days to fair value. That means if you invest now, you're paying a risk premium of roughly 406 days, right? We know that cryptocurrency is very early in its adoption cycle, and it's got a very fast growth trajectory. So we're looking at 406 days if you invest in crypto right now to actually get to this fair value number. Now, obviously, we expect bubbles and deviations from this. We're not going to go straight into the trend line more than likely, right? Now, at the peak, our most recent peak in total cryptocurrency market cap, we traded at 728 days to fair value. Historically, the total cryptocurrency market cap has peaked roughly 1,463 days and 1,200 days from fair value. Now, that was without the current situation that we have with insanely low interest rates and very high inflation due to the amount of money that's been printed. One last thing before I start firing through these slides. Microsoft in 1999, towards the peak of its bubble, traded at a $600 billion market cap. One stock, $600 billion, right? Now we're talking about an entire asset class trading at 1.4 trillion, barely more than 2 times what one stock traded at in the tech sector in 1999 when there was 5 times less money in circulation. In fact, if we grossed and normalized this up for today's money supply and we 5x this market cap, that would be a 3 trillion market cap for Microsoft in terms of the amount of money that has been printed since 1999. That would be surpassing. That would mean that one stock in 1999, that bubble was larger than the total asset class bubble that we've seen peak at $2.56 trillion for crypto. Let's jump over to Ethereum really quick. Days to fair value against the trend line. If we use this yellow one where most of the data is at, 287 days, very close to fair value. Let's jump to the S&P 500. I've got 2 measurements, 2 trend lines. We've got a conservative one and a long-term one, right? In our more conservative one, the more capturing more recent data, we're almost 3,000 days away from fair value. That reads 2,830 days. That means you're paying a price that based on the S&P 500's growth trajectory, the S&P 500 shouldn't be worth this price until 2,830 days from now. So you're paying a 2,830-day risk premium by investing in the S&P 500 right now. And if we use our longer-term growth trajectory of the S&P 500, you're paying over $5,000 in risk premium. This is what we'd expect. Is this a bad thing? Is it risky? Yes, but given the current circumstances with inflation, we expect people to be paying a premium, yet they're not paying a premium for crypto, or they're paying a 200 to 700 day premium. Gold, actually, you can make a very strong argument for gold because it is only 1,274 days away from its fair value. However, the drawdown for gold is very low, 17%. And that's actually why I believe our machine learning models at Token Metrics for our investor portfolios oftentimes recommends a small allocation around the 10 to 20% range for PAX-G, right? PAX-G is the gold pegged stablecoin, right? Let's look at silver, over 5,000 days away from fair value. Let's look at real estate, commercial real estate, 3,868 days away from its fair value growth trajectory trend line. Where was real estate in terms of risk the last time it crashed? It was 3,500 days away from its fair value trend line before it crashed in 2007, 2008. We've surpassed that now. 3,868 days of risk. Residential real estate, 4,000 days away from its fair value. Netflix, 3,000 days away from its fair value. Microsoft, over 1,600 days away from its fair value. Even oil, which did have a recent trip down to the negatives, but now is over 5,000 days away from its fair value. Last slide, let me go back to total cryptocurrency market cap. 406 days away from fair value. Crypto's growing extremely fast, and while yes, there is potential for a large drawdown of up to 55% down to fair value, you get rewarded with investing in crypto with a much faster growth trajectory because it is a much smaller, faster growing asset. And that's my argument for why crypto is undervalued compared to other asset classes, especially in terms of the risk premium that you pay to invest in crypto.
All right. Thank you, Forrest. That was amazing. Definitely always enjoy that work. So if you like that video, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and tell a friend to tell a friend. Not being in crypto is a financial crime. Okay. All right. Let's just do a quick update on the Token Metrics Reg CF crowdfund on WeFunder. Thank you to everybody who's indicated interest. As mentioned, we are currently testing the waters. So just pause the video, go through this disclaimer. But basically, we're testing the waters. Right now, no capital is actually being collected until everything has been received with the Form C with the SEC. But if you go to wefunder.com/tokenmetrics, we are now over 3 million. So we are now at almost $3.5 million out of the 4 million. Right. So thank you so much. We appreciate the community, the support. You're helping us go to the moon and beyond, and we want to make sure our customers, our audience, our community has a chance to own equity in Token Metrics. So we're getting close towards the goal. Likely we'll close probably this month. So if you're still have any questions, go to the page. I added a very in-depth video going through the actual pitch. So go there, check that out. I believe it was posted on online as well, on TMTV as well. But anyway, thank you so much. Let's now go to question of the day. Go to menti.com. Question of the day: USDC stablecoin backer circle is going public. Which one do you think is the best stablecoin? Is it Tether? Is it USDC? Is it DAI? Is it Paxos? Or is it other? Let's go to Bill. What's the best stablecoin in your opinion?
Well, the best stablecoin to just sit in is USDC if you don't want to worry about it. I seem to think that DAI is really interesting as a stablecoin. I know that they work with that on DYDX, and that may have opportunities for yield without the FUD that you get in Tether or the boredom that you get in USDC. So I'm actually going to go with DAI.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Forrest?
Yeah, I'm going to go with DAI because it's backed by Ethereum and it's decentralized ultimately. So I would much rather take on the smart contract risk than the centralization risk of USDT or USDC. I prefer USDC to Tether. I'm not a huge Tether fan for multiple reasons, but I'm going to go with DAI. It's just DeFi is ultimately the solution that I think we should push for in multiple areas, not only stablecoins.
All right. Thank you, Forrest. So this is actually very tough. Tether is the most liquid. So I use all three of these. The only one I don't use is Pax. So in terms of DeFi and crypto, I use DAI. I trust DAI. The only issue is they've had issues with their algorithm, right? So if you had to tell me if I had to put my money in a stablecoin long term, which one would I trust? I would say USDC because it's backed by Coinbase and Circle, right? Coinbase is a public company. Circle will be public. They announced their SPAC. So it gives me confidence that the money is not going to go anywhere, right? DAI is also getting more stable, but they've had issues in the past where, because DAI is basically tied to Maker. So the whole ecosystem, if it's going to be controlled by algorithms, you want to make sure that there are no black swan events like there was back in the pandemic. So if I had to choose one, I would say USDC. I know it's regulated. I don't really see that being an issue unless you're money laundering, right? But if everything is clean, to me, it makes sense. But let's see what the audience has to say. Let's show the results. All right, the audience chose USDC. DAI in second, Tether third, Pax in fourth. All right, thank you for that. Let's now go to the next segment. Thought of the week: TikTok bans influencers from promoting cryptocurrencies. Will this hurt meme coins? Yes or no? All right, let's go to Forrest. What do you think about this?
Hopefully it will. No, jokes aside, I could see it hurting meme coins a little bit, but there's so many channels through which these meme coin shills can shill through, right? There's still YouTube, there's still Telegram channels, there's still Reddit, there's still tons of channels for shilling to go on, and TikTok is just one of those channels. So I don't see this hurting meme coins too bad.
All right, Bill?
I think it's going to slow down the meme coin movement, mainly because people on YouTube or YouTube in general may have an eye on what these guys are doing. So, hopefully this doesn't ever lead to this type of thing where all advertising was banned, like back in 2018. So as Forrest said, yeah, hopefully it does. Hopefully it slows down these meme coin guys, because when they go elsewhere, those platforms may, let's just say, keep an eye on them.
Right. Now, I find this very interesting because the same thing happened, well, not banning crypto, but I recall when Vine closed down, people were wondering where all these influencers would go. And they ended up going to other platforms, to Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. And for me, I don't like it. I think people buying crypto from TikTok influencers, they'll get wrecked. However, they are bringing crypto exposure to a whole new audience, people who normally would not really even dabble with crypto, right? So they found a way to kind of make crypto cool and help it go mainstream. But the question is, where will they go next, right? Will this hurt the meme coins? I don't think so, because I think if people notice the virality of meme coins and the money in meme coins, I don't think they'll just easily give up just because TikTok won't let them post crypto videos, right? Maybe they'll go to Instagram or Twitter or YouTube. So for me, I don't think this is going to hurt meme coins at all. Let's see what the audience has voted. Oh, wow. Yes. The audience says yes, it will. Very, very interesting. Tell us why down in the comments below. And we'll go through the comments and see if there's anything there. All right. So let's go to Crypto Showdown. What are the top altcoin picks for July? So we've gone through looking at analytics for the most popular tokens on token metrics. And the options we have so far are Polkadot, Graph, and Synthetics. So DOT, GRT, and SNX. So Bill, which one do you think will have the best month in July?
All right. Well, for this one, the trend is my friend. I started with Synthetics at 9, and I'm staying with it. I got to go with Synthetics. When you start seeing things moving in 10 and 20% increments, it means there's a supply issue. One thing I remember somebody showing me about Synthetics during the bear market is that you can now stake Synthetics on Yearn Finance. Correct me if I'm wrong there. So the future of Wall Street trade, I'm absolutely not getting off it. Nothing wrong with the other two coins, but I'm sticking with SNX.
All right, thank you, Bill. Let's go to Forrest.
Yeah, I like all three of these. I'm probably going to say DOT just because it's been beaten down. If you remember, right before the total crypto market kind of crashed with Bitcoin leading the way, DOT was trying to rally above $50 and it was moving very aggressively. I thought it was undervalued then, and I absolutely think it's undervalued at $15. So I think DOT has a lot of positive price movement and price action headed its way.
All right, thank you, Forrest. So yeah, this is tough because all these are solid projects. They're all solid. Polkadot has been beaten up. Let me actually pull up Polkadot here on Token Metrics. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so we actually don't have any trend indicator on this, but looking at the quarterly grade, it is pretty low. If we go to the graph, quarterly grade is also pretty low as well. So basically, for the next 3 months, nothing is really good. However, if we go long term to yearly, quant grade has an okay grade for SNX, 73%. And if we go to the graph, nothing there. So I would say I'd have to go with SNX. I think SNX is rising. I did trade this last year, but when the whole DeFi summer came, SNX did pretty well, but then towards the tail end of it, it didn't do too well, right? So after that, I feel like all these other DeFi coins had the spotlight. So I would not be surprised if we go into DeFi 2.0, where SNX maybe begins growing and adding a lot more value and building the whole ecosystem, getting more integrations. So I'll probably have to go with SNX. I think it's been very dormant for a while. Okay, let's see what the audience has to say. Tell us what you think. If you had to pick between these three, which one do you think would have the best month this month? So let's go ahead and present the results. Polkadot. All right. Lots of interest in Polkadot. So tell us what you think. Do you think the audience is right or wrong? Tell us why you like Polkadot down below in the comments. Somebody's saying, why is SNX and Luna doing so well at the moment? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think maybe they've just bottomed because the market has been turning more bullish recently. There've been projects. I think Bill, which project did a 3x after dipping last week? I think you covered this on the last live stream. Was it Perp or?
It was Alpha that did the 3x.
Alpha. Yeah. So I think people are finding projects with value that have been beaten up, and they're buying the dip on them, right? Basically value investing. So Terra Luna has been beaten up, so has SNX. Jade Church says Telcoin is a top 10 future crypto. I don't know about that. I mean, I did invest in Telcoin. I was part of the private sale back in 2017. Even traveled to Tokyo and talked to the team at the offices. Very interesting project. They've done a lot of work with regulation here in the U.S., but I don't think top 10. That's stretching it. Chris says DAG is the future. It's been up 216% already since market crash. Okay. Kingston says everything has been beaten up. Yes, it has. Everything has been beaten up, but not too bad. I mean, for example, Helium from all-time high, I think, was only down 50%, but most altcoins lost 80% or 90% of their value. Right? For example, ICP, Casper Labs. So when you find products with value, they also get beaten up, but not as much. But anyway, thank you for being part of the Crypto Showdown. let's go to a question from the forum. Dependency on banks. This comes from Coco. The dependency on banks to cash out your crypto profits is inevitable. This is very risky as banks may ban any crypto-related transactions anytime. What do you guys think would be the solution in the near future to break free from banks? All right, let's go to Bill.
Well, the solution to break free from banks is to have a digital payment solution like Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and drumroll Nano, which, by the way, is up a lot today. So if you don't need to cash out your crypto, you don't need banks. You could go from an altcoin trade, and instead of going into dollars, you could go into something you could spend, which could be Bitcoin, but it could also be Litecoin or Nano. Now, as far as, banks completely cutting off crypto, I think Coinbase is big enough of an entity, and it has a marquee name that I don't know if you're ever going to wake up one day unless it's a government edict and, Coinbase is going to get cut off from all banks. Coinbase has business development, relationships, and it's a publicly traded company. So, I don't see big exchanges getting cut off from big banks.
All right, let's go to Forrest.
Yeah, digital cash solution, exactly like Bill said. Bitcoin Cash, Dash, Nano, all digital cash solutions that are gaining adoption. The other thing is DeFi. The idea behind DeFi is to cut out the middlemen, so that you actually don't have to use a bank. The other thing is, I think ultimately banks are going to change their tune. I believe 4 years ago or so, JP Morgan Chase came out, they were very opposed to crypto and Bitcoin, and now they've got Bitcoin price predictions upwards of $200,000. So the larger crypto grows, the less they can afford to not like it and not be compatible with it, because as soon as they're not compatible with it, they're losing money. And the banks who do step in and become crypto friendly will take up a large amount of fees and money that they can be making on crypto.
All right, thank you, Forrest. So this is a very, very interesting question, right? What do we think about the solution in the near future to break free from banks? If anything, we're not really breaking free from banks. So recently there was a charter passed in Wyoming, which allows essentially crypto banks, right? So regulation is now being updated to make it easier for banks to custody crypto assets, right? So I don't see how the regulation would progress and then banks would just go backwards and just ban all crypto-related transactions. If anything, I think we'll start getting banks that focus purely on crypto, right? For example, when it comes to crypto hedge funds, there are lots of banks like Signature Bank, Silvergate Bank. These are banks that cater pretty much to crypto customers, crypto clients. So I don't really see how that's going to be an issue going forward. But how do we break free from banks? I mean, honestly, I think this would have to go fully digital. So, for example, but even then, the banks would just be digital banks, right? So I think the concept of banking is not really going to go away because people always want to have a middle entity, even though crypto is meant to solve that. But at the end of the day, people like having somebody they can call and complain to. All right, thank you for that question. Let's now go to the AMA. All right, so the first question. Staked alpha is going up dramatically. Any ideas on where the price might be headed? And Ian, did you grab some at the bottom? No, I did not. I've not bought alpha yet, unfortunately. Bill, what's the update on alpha?
Okay, let's get a chart going here. Okay, so alpha right now is sitting on support right around 75 cents. I see room to $1. That's that previous fourth level. Alpha staking is probably going up dramatically because one of the value propositions of this coin is the more you have staked, okay, the more sort of like video game DeFi levels you can play in the alpha ecosystem. So if you want leveraged yield farming and all the different tiers of activity and lending and borrowing opportunities, the more you have to stake. So, it's not surprising that this coin that was trading at $1.75 that went to 30 cents is not, it makes sense that it's being scooped up rapidly so that people can participate in DeFi. And, the staking yield isn't 100%, it's 15%, but at least that's bigger than the rate of inflation, which is a lot more than you can say in legacy. So, decent return, the ability to play in multiple arenas. And don't forget, Alpha came out with something where, people who stake Alpha will get airdropped any kind of DeFi token that decides to build itself on the Alpha platform. So that hasn't happened yet, but there are reasons to stake this coin. I have it staked, so disclaimer there, and that's why.
All right, thank you, Bill. Forrest, any comments on Alpha?
Yeah, if we cut over to my screen, this is actually, I believe, the Medium article you shared with us earlier this weekend, Ian, announcing investors of Beta Finance. So Beta Finance actually is, I believe, the first incubated project on the Alpha Launchpad. And what Beta Finance is seeking to do is just create a DeFi product that allows short selling along with a permissionless money market. But we're seeing big investors, Delphi Ventures, Parify Capital, Multicoin Capital, Defiance. I mean, this is big. And as more projects become or begin to show up in this Alpha Launchpad ecosystem, I expect the value of Alpha Finance or Alpha token to rise dramatically. I think Alpha is potentially undervalued now that their fundamentals have changed and they've launched this Launchpad.
All right, thank you, Forrest. Okay, next question. Can you please describe what scenario, either price action or fundamentals playing out, would lead you to be confident that the bull run could continue? All right, very good question. Very important question. Let's go to Forrest.
Yep, so I'm going to need to share my screen again. There's two things that I'm looking for in order to continue a bull market, not a bear market. Two things. One is this 2x short level or 50% retracement level to hold for Bitcoin. And we're actually seeing very, very, very nice consolidation along this level. That is no coincidence. There is no coincidence that we're seeing support at 50%. Yes, we've wicked below it, but the reason we're seeing support here is because as soon as Bitcoin's price drops below this level, you can no longer short Bitcoin. You can no longer enter a short on Bitcoin on leverage, on 2x leverage, and have your liquidation point protected against the all-time high. So as long as Bitcoin's price stays and holds support above 32, I believe it's 32,400 or so at this 2x short level, that means that the market sentiment believes that Bitcoin can go higher and make a new all-time high in the near future, right? That means that the short sellers are afraid that Bitcoin is going back up. Now, if we drop significantly below this level, then I'm actually buying in the short term because I would expect strong buyers down here, and I would expect a V-shaped recovery and being able to sell in the short term for a profit. But then that would make me more weary of a potential longer consolidation phase or accumulation phase, bear market, whatever you want to call it. The second thing I'm looking for Bitcoin to go back into a bull market, and I'm not saying we're out of a bull market right now, but to continue this market cycle, this overall long-term market cycle, is the retest of its downtrend line. This is something that we see every time Bitcoin corrects. It ultimately has to come back up at some point and retest this level. I'm looking for a breach, right? A breach of this retest level, and then a confirmation bounce on the other side of it. Where that will happen, right, is unclear. We could go straight up next week, right, and test it at 45,000. We could test it, in a couple weeks from now at 43,000, or we could consolidate some more and go sideways into it and maybe test it at 36,000. Regardless, this is a trend line that I am watching very, very closely because ultimately I think it's very important in dictating whether or not we go into a bull market again or go, potentially to a new all-time high.
All right. Thank you, Forrest. Bill, how about you?
All right. Well, I'm gonna use the Bitcoin chart. Okay. The previous fourth wave higher. The previous fourth wave where all the panic selling started in Bitcoin was at 42K. So one, I expect that to get unwound, and I expect Bitcoin to attack 42K. If Bitcoin takes out 42K in any way, intraday, close, otherwise, then the bull market's on. Downtrend's broken and it's on. All right. So normally all the panicking gets unwound first, and then the breakout follows. Don't underestimate what big cryptos like Bitcoin can do.
All right. Thank you, Bill. So I'm actually going to go the other way around. So I think the bull market will continue because so many people got wrecked last month, right? In June and May. So many people who bought the top or bought meme coins, altcoins, whatever, assets have dropped over 80%, right? So if anything, when there's blood in the streets, I think the market will bounce back from there because it's pretty much almost bottomed, right? And unlike other cycles where the market might take 1 or 2 years to crash, I think because of leverage and how DeFi has really brought in a whole new audience of newbies, what took 1 or 2 years to happen is now happening in 1 or 2 months, right? So the market is moving at 100x the speed it used to, which means that whatever excess and froth was there has been washed out, and now, as you see, value plays are bouncing, right? Alpha doing a 3x, right? So if anything, that makes me even more confident because the excess, the greed, has been flushed out, and now products with real value are making money, right? So if we continue to see more projects, for example, Audius, Perp, and others, if they start doing 3x's, then that gives me even more confidence that now money is flowing back into those projects with value. Thank you for that question. Okay, let's go to the next one. Where do you see the crypto mining industry headed? Let's go to Bill. We actually had an article on this, I believe.
Okay, crypto miners, in short, are going to have to go green. And I think there's always going to be a place for miners. They may also get into the staking game themselves to sort of diversify their world. But I think crypto miners are now, instead of a race for better hardware, they're in a race to see who can go green so that they can market the coin that they mine. I mean, can you imagine if somehow somebody announced tomorrow that 40% of all Bitcoin mining was green? I mean, Bitcoin would go right back to 64K, right? All the celebrities, Musk, all these guys. So miners are now not only miners, but marketers as well.
All right. Thank you. Bill? Forrest?
Yeah, I have a pretty contrarian, unpopular opinion on this, but I'm not a big fan of proof of work mining. I just even if it's coming from sustainable energy sources, I'm not a big fan of it because I truly don't see the need for proof of work when there's other consensus mechanisms that I believe to be just as secure. Again, that's a debatable topic that a lot of people will not agree with me on, and I understand that. Nano, for example, I think is a better consensus mechanism in 6 million times. We know that it's 6 million times more energy efficient, so I don't see the need for proof of work. So the question is, where do I see the mining industry moving? I think a lot of people are still going to be okay with mining and that energy expenditure, but I do think it's a very big flaw and a very big weak point with proof of work cryptocurrencies. Anything that has a proof of work consensus mechanism, we're already seeing that narrative play out a little bit with Chia Network. Even when Elon tweeted about the energy issues of Bitcoin, we saw Nano pump like, I think it it was from like $6 to $17 in the course of a few days. So I think it's going to continue to be a narrative for a long time.
All right, thank you, Forrest. So I think crypto mining is basically going to the US, which is actually, in my opinion, good. Because pretty much, I think about 60% of the Bitcoin hash rate and miners were in China. So when China kicked them out, they've now had to go somewhere else, right? And they've been going to places like Texas, or places like Iceland. But in essence, I see a lot of them are coming to Texas, where I'm based, right? For example, I met at a blockchain event we were hosting, a founder for a Bitcoin mining farm in Texas. And basically, everything is meant to be green energy, clean energy. And he's saying business is booming. And there are many other mining companies basically bringing the entire infrastructure from China, from overseas, to Texas and other parts of the US. Because after what happened in China, they're looking for ways where they can mine the Bitcoin in a region that's energy efficient and in a region that's not really going to have any political risk. Because that was the issue in China. They were always watching their backs, not sure what the government will do to their company. But now they know, right? So in a way, I see people coming to America because of the just better corporate laws. When you come here as an entrepreneur and build a business, you aren't really afraid of the government taking your business, right? And then in Texas specifically, because of the energy over there, right? It's one of the few parts of the U.S. where the energy is not really part of the whole country energy grid, I believe. But anyway, tell us what you think. What do you think the crypto mining industry is going? All right, let's move on to the next question. Hold on, let me go back up here. Okay, so question is, I've invested in Tokenmetrics Inc. on WeFunder. Actually, you probably mean you've indicated your interest to invest, because right now we're testing the waters, as mentioned, right? So no money is being collected yet. WeFunder holds on to the money, but nothing is collected until everything has been filed with the SEC. But anyway, going back to the question. So I'm curious about the potential ROI. How is this thing going to work? I recall you saying possible a token or going to a publicly traded stock. I mean, so all this is on the pitch, right? And we also have a video that's basically deep dive. But in essence, you're indicating interest to buy shares in Tokenmetrics, equity, stock, right? And in terms of, which slide is this? In terms of exits, right? There's so many ways we can go with this, right? We could possibly IPO, possibly token, right? But in essence, you would be an early supporter of Tokenmetrics and own actual equity. So for example, if we IPO and Tokenmetrics, the stock is tradable on exchanges, like on Wall Street, you would be an actual shareholder, right? So we can't really give you financial advice in terms of ROI expectations. That's something for you to figure out. But in essence, you're becoming an owner of Tokenmetrics by having a portion of Tokenmetrics. So thank you for that question. Okay, all right. Let's see here. End of year price prediction for Polkadot. Okay, let's go to Forrest. Your thoughts on Polkadot price prediction?
Yeah, I can pull up the scenario matrix. It could take me a second to do that.
Okay.
Let me
go to Bill while you pull that up.
Let's go to Bill real quick.
Yeah, I could talk.
yeah.
I could
Bill?
talk to it. Okay. Keeping us on our toes. Okay, Polkadot year end. All right, so this is like a GAN version of what Forrest does. At the top, Polkadot was at $48, 61% above my GAN trend line. At the bottom, Polkadot at $13 was 61% below fair value, right? The GAN version. That's the loose version. My year-end target would be 60. Okay, because I believe that what happens is essentially using GAN that Polkadot by the winter solstice would travel up here around 60. So I think Polkadot can take out its all-time high and then some.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Forrest?
Yeah, so if I pull my screen here, this price scenario matrix that I'm about to show you guys was done at a point in time where Polkadot was moving at a much faster pace than it currently is. Polkadot's been beaten up pretty bad. Now, I still do think that it's fairly, let's see, dot market cap. I need to pull up dot USDT. There we go. I still think that it's quite undervalued. Even if we look at its trend line, we can see that, I mean, it could come down to $10, right? But if we look at by the end of 2021, fair value on this very, very conservative trend line, using data from late 2020, would put us at about a pretty disappointing $20, $25, right? But if we adjust up to our previous trend line and DOT can basically get back on track, right? We're adjusting up to these other points, and we go to December 2021. We're in line with Bill, right? Around $70, right? Now, based on its previous trajectory, right? When DOT was doing this, basically just going straight up, we did do some price projections, and we had about $142. Now, with new information, more candles printing, I do think DOT, especially if Bitcoin ends up and the rest of the total cryptocurrency market ends up rallying, I don't think $142 is off the table. However, I would be probably operating in this lower range in our price scenario matrix. So anywhere from between $28, which we've already knocked off. We actually got up to around $50, $47. So we've already kind of beat or surpassed these lower ranges in our scenario matrix. And remember, right, anything here is on the table. The point of this is to cut out the stuff that's complete garbage, right? Somebody saying DOT's going to $2,000, right? This is to create a realistic scenario model. It is a broad range, but I think this serves a legitimate purpose. And I think anything up to $142 could be on the table, but I would tend to agree based off of my trend line work that by December, somewhere around $60, $70 would be a nice price to see DOT get back up to.
All right. Thank you, Forrest and Bill. Let's now go to the next question. If you had to pick one safe coin and one risky or speculative coin to hold until the end of the bull run, what would it be? All right. Very interesting question. So basically, one safe coin, one risky coin. Let's go to Bill.
Okay, well, we're in cryptocurrency, so I say and do a lot of things, but I don't do safe because it's crypto, right? I think if you want to be conservative, frankly, you just stick with Bitcoin because it's conservative, right? It's plain Jane, but it's scarce, right? And you know that there's demand. The only thing that's safe in crypto is that there's going to be demand for Bitcoin. Now, if you want to get risky, there's Perp, which is a derivatives exchange. There's Monte Carlo DEX, which is similar. There's Alpha, keeping in mind that can go from $2 to 30 cents and back, hopefully. The riskier play that I like is Sushi Swap, right? In other words, I don't understand why everyone has given up on these decentralized platforms for trading and lending. So, it's like Sushi Swap is like single digits.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Forrest?
Yeah, just picking two tokens. Safe, I'd go Ethereum. Kind of, to me, kind of a no-brainer in terms of just getting exposure to DeFi. If you can only pick two tokens, you probably want exposure to both NFTs and DeFi. So Ethereum is going to give you exposure to the upsides of both of those, and its second largest cryptocurrency market cap. So in my terms, I think that's the safe token. Risky, you could interpret that a couple different ways. Even though I don't think it's that risky, I think the risk to reward ratio is actually quite good. I'd probably go nano, basically diversifying out of the Ethereum or out of the smart contract space, right? If I only have 2 tokens, I don't necessarily want 2 DeFi related tokens or 2 smart contract network tokens. So I'd probably go like something in the digital cash space like Nano. Otherwise, if you really want risky, I would probably go with maybe Blank token because they recently just dropped 86%, I believe, this week because they had a hack, but the hack was only, I believe, $240,000. Which isn't that bad, and good projects bounce back from hacks all the time. I mean, Balancer bounced back from its hack, especially earlier this year before the crash. It has been beaten back down. And I believe Armor Finance before the crash had really started to bounce back from its hack as well. So if it's a good project and it's down 87% because of a $240,000 hack, I'd probably look more into it and see why that hack occurred. But that's a really high risk, high reward play.
All right, thank you, Forrest. So if I had to choose a safe coin and a risky coin, yeah, I mean, my safe coins would likely be Ethereum or Helium Network. To me, that's a very safe investment, long term. If anything, it's more undervalued than Ethereum, but it's growing very, very fast. I mean, at this point, Helium is on track to possibly be the largest blockchain network in the world. They have over 50,000 nodes, which is a lot, and they have so many backordered. If I had to choose a risky investment, I would probably choose Alchemix. I think what they're doing is very, very innovative. So it's one I would be comfortable holding until the end of the bull run and until the next bull run. All right, let's move on to the next question. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, Siren markets still a valid option? Yes, I mean the fundamentals have not changed. The code review has not changed. It's a project on my watch list. No, I'm sorry. Actually, I do have Siren. I've had too many DeFi coins now. Yes, so Siren is definitely a valid option. Bill, could we do TA on Siren?
Certainly.
All right. So for me, I've just been buying these tokens and I just stake and forget, and I don't even look at them, right? So I think their APY at the time was over 100%. I have to double check, but pretty much I just staked it part of my portfolio and I'm not even logged back in. So I'll come back later, but for now I'm looking at it as a long-term investment, as a long-term play. So I don't think it makes sense to panic. If you're trading it, then that's different.
Okay, so I think with Siren, obviously there's been a decline in volume and daily trading ranges. So people have given up. And what should you do when people give up? What happened in synthetics, audio, alpha, right? These top fundamental or code review projects, when people give up, could be a measure of opportunity. Now, should you have all of your money in this? No. Okay, but if we came out with this as a code review and then it gets marked down from $2.50 to 70 cents, it's of course worth a look.
All right, thank you, Bill. Okay, next question. With the upcoming halving for Helium coming up in the next 3 weeks, where do you expect the price to go, assuming the wider crypto market stays in a range like it is currently? I mean, supply and demand. So if Helium gets more scarce after the halving, and with all these hotspots that are being brought onto the network, because at this point Helium has over 50,000 hotspots, and they're over 250,000 back ordered, right? So they'll all be mining and earning HNT tokens, but they'll be earning less because of the halving, right? So I think the same thing that happened with Bitcoin halving will happen with Helium, right? That's why long term, I think this is going to do very, very well. Anybody with any thoughts on the halving for Helium? All right.
I think you covered it there. Supply demand.
Okay. All right. Planning our future investments. Which top crypto assets are most likely to last long term, and which are most likely to fail? Okay, crypto asset. Okay. So basically, it's the same question asked a different way.
Projects
Bill,
that scored
you wanna
over an
take this one?
80 on code review. I would say,
I think that's-
honestly,
keep it simple.
projects that scored over 80% on code review. I think that's a
Yeah.
great indicator.
Yeah, so I think definitely over 80% on code review and also fundamentals as well, right? Now, one thing we have been exploring and experimenting with is coming up with strategies to short crypto assets using tokenomics, quant grade, and TM grade. So in essence, let's say we have a portfolio where it buys the top 10 or 20 projects based on code review, then it gets the top 10 or top 20 worst projects and shorts them, right? So I think that would be very, very interesting. It's kind of pretty much a way to hedge in crypto. And as Forrest mentioned, there was a project our team is looking into, and we'll likely do a code review on them. What's it called? The Alpha project? Forrest?
Beta Finance, I believe.
Beta Finance? Yeah. So, I mean, that's definitely could be very innovative. So if they can create shorts for DeFi, that's pretty big. Then all these meme coins. I mean, people will get rich shorting meme coins. But anyway, I digress. All right, let's see here. Okay, interesting question here. Helium over Polkadot. I mean, you guys already know where I stand with this one. I'm team Helium all the way. I'm never gonna leave that ship because it's making money. Polkadot is great technology, but for me, I think they're going through the cycle Ethereum went through back in 2017 when Ethereum had lots of ICOs raising money just on paper. But long term, both products will do very, very well. Forrest?
I'm split on this one. Had I gotten into Helium earlier, probably have to go with Helium. At current prices and current trends, I think it's 50-50, right? I think DOT's been beat up a ton, and I think it could potentially rally and go much higher. However, on the other side of things, yes, Helium has exploded in price recently this market cycle. However, we've got the halving coming up, staking's online. Helium and 5G, Helium fundamentals have never looked better, and this has essentially just been going sideways for Helium in a channel because the overall crypto space has crashed, which has kind of held back Helium from realizing the potential that it has. So I'm a huge DOT fan, but I'm honestly almost leaning towards Helium, and it actually pains me to say that. I like Helium, but I really like DOT too. So I'd probably go slightly in favor of Helium on this one.
All right, Bill.
Going back to the theme of the market update, where I was just talking about this idea of where's the supply, right? So it's tough to buy Helium on exchanges. It's not like it's available on Coinbase. Miners are going to be getting less and less Helium, and a whole bunch of Helium is going to come off the market because of staking. So when someone comes in to buy a bunch of Helium, who's going to sell it to them? Sometimes I wonder that, what's the next Ethereum? Like if you go back to a 2017 comparison, like, Ethereum is like the new Bitcoin. So what's the new Ethereum? Well, I did some work once that it could be Solana. And sometimes I wonder if it's Helium, right? People know about it. They know it's good. But the question is, it hasn't reached an absurd valuation. It hasn't done what meme coins or even Cardano did. So, yeah, I like Polkadot. I like Web3, but you got to give this helium coin a chance because, again, where's the supply?
All right. Thank you, Bill. Very well said. Okay, next question. Elizabeth Warren has recently demanded the SEC to check into cryptocurrency exchanges. Are decentralized exchanges like Uniswap and 1inch looking at potential problems in the future? Yeah, so actually, I did see that letter she sent. Bill, have you heard of this? Have you looked into this?
Yes, we have. So the Token Metrics TV cast was essentially racing each other to see who could curse off Elizabeth Warren fastest on their show. Let me get this straight. A left-leaning senator is going to tell the Securities and Exchange Commission, who's in the middle of a lawsuit with Ripple Inc., she's going to tell them to clarify all the rules on demand in the middle of a lawsuit. Look, I understand that there are a lot of people who want essentially revenge against rich people. They want a wealth tax. Elizabeth Warren is one of them. I have no judgment as to whether or not that is or is not a good idea. I think Senator Warren is operating under a false assumption that the existence of cryptocurrencies means everybody can evade a wealth tax. I think it might help, but it's not automatic. The government wants to take people's money. It can take people's money. Okay? It's as simple as that. So, Senator Warren's attempts to put FUD on the tape, scare everyone, including the SEC, it's just simply not going to work, right? And it's good that she wrote the letter and wrote it down and kind of, immortalized the embarrassment, because you just can't tell an agency like the SEC to clarify something on demand that's extremely complicated. So do I think this affects decentralized exchanges? Folks, if they complied with what Senator Warren wants, what are they going to do about decentralized entities? Right? They have to go along and encourage state or government-issued stablecoins to try to get visibility on how people on-ramp to crypto. You're not going to shut down decentralized anything, but you can control visibility on on-ramping, and that's what politicians should focus on.
All right, thank you, Bill. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Okay, what circumstances are needed in order to make alts decouple from Bitcoin? Let's go to Forrest.
Yeah, let me pull up altcoin market cap chart real quick. Altcoin dominance, rather, not market cap. Yeah, so we're seeing some of the fundamental catalysts already with Ethereum going to proof of stake, Ethereum 2.0 in towards the end of this year, if not potentially early next year. We've also got, let me take off the logarithmic, right? EIP 1559. So we've got the fundamentals of the second largest cryptocurrency out there, Ethereum, improving vastly faster than the fundamentals of Bitcoin, right? Actually, the fundamentals behind Bitcoin are kind of difficult to change because they're dependent kind of on the macroeconomic situation. And the macroeconomic situation has really never been better for Bitcoin, with like what I've talked about earlier, inflation and the printing of money. What I'm looking at right now is altcoin market cap. And this is a chart that I personally use over time to show whether or not altcoins, or this is altcoin dominance, whether or not altcoins are in a bubble or not. So we've got our kind of trend line, and this is a very line of best fit, middle of the road trend line. I'm not trying to capture the bottom of the data, right? Because I'm not looking for an entry point here. I'm looking for deviations from the mean, if you will, right? So right now, altcoin dominance or altcoins are kind of in a bubble. However, I would expect over time, right, that altcoin dominance is going to rise because there's only one Bitcoin and there's constantly a flood of more solid altcoin projects coming into the space. So if we just draw this long-term trend line out to maybe 2030 over the next 10 years, we actually see altcoin dominance potentially rising to about 80% as the mean, as the standard, right? And yes, there will absolutely be deviations along the way, but I think ultimately, as the space grows rapidly, it's very young. We have tons of altcoin projects coming onto the market. Does that mean Bitcoin's going to shrink in terms of market cap and die out? Not necessarily, but I think that just by sheer volume of the number of good altcoin projects and utility that they provide, it's just going to start overshadowing and taking over Bitcoin in terms of market dominance. We're going to see altcoin dominance just naturally start to rise over time because it's not just Ethereum anymore as the major altcoin. We've got thousands of altcoins, hundreds that are actually probably good use cases. So I think it's just going to happen naturally over time. I'm not so certain that it's going to just be all of a sudden off the charts and we're just going to see everything decouple from Bitcoin all at once. I think it'll be more of a gradual thing.
All right. Thank you, Forrest. Bill, any quick comments on that?
Yes, certainly. So I think the key for altcoins moving in a different direction or different manner than Bitcoin is going to be a function of DeFi 2.0 and everything following Ethereum as Ethereum reprices itself versus Bitcoin. So this is the Ethereum 2-week chart. 44 is a big number in Gann analysis, so half of that, 22, would also be important. July of 2021 is 22 2-week bars away from when DeFi first started, really ripping higher in August of 2020. Now, I think ETH is going to start taking off within the next month. So Ethereum versus Bitcoin has the potential to go dramatically higher. When Ethereum versus Bitcoin moves, that's when you'll see this sort of separation where instead of everything following Bitcoin, it follows ETH. The key is ETH has to be repriced versus Bitcoin, and there's a huge argument, both charts and otherwise, for ETH to do really well.
All right, thank you, Bill. I mean, that gets me thinking, maybe we're getting closer and closer to that flippening, right? Because somebody asked me that same thing at the meetup. When do I expect Ethereum to flip Bitcoin? Now, in the past, I said I would not be surprised by the end of the decade, basically 2030. But things are going a lot faster than that. I mean, I would say, honestly, in 1 to 2 years, I would not be surprised, right? If 1 year from now, if Ethereum becomes ultra sound money, becomes deflationary, becomes more scarce than Bitcoin, and development activity and DeFi keeps on going up, I would not be surprised if Ethereum flipped Bitcoin in 1 year. Very, very hot take. I know that Bitcoin might like it, but I mean, it's happening. The proof is in the data. All right, let's go on to the next question here. What are the most important skills to be a successful crypto investor? Is it understanding market cycles? Very, very good question. Let's go to Bill.
Well, the first and most important thing is your ability to keep your head clear. So you can understand and you can buy a bunch of books and get the best TradingView subscription that there is. But if you can't keep your head clear, you can't read them. Now, that said, you are going to have to study. So I would say the second biggest characteristic is a desire and enjoyment of the learning process. Keeping in mind that the learning process in crypto is not always fun. You will buy the top and you will sell the low, whether you're experienced or not. Okay? But you're going to have to both study and learn through experience. Okay? And the third thing I would say is resiliency, right? Don't rage quit crypto after a bad trade or at the bottom of a sudden down move. Now, it's easy to say. It's all of these things are easier said than done, but particularly that third one. So things like breathing exercises, setting out a regular amount of time to study, like 30 minutes or a half hour. Finding an aspect of crypto that you actually enjoy. right? You know, I know there's you know, the word cry is embedded in the word crypto, but you got to find your crypto happy space. All right. And that's how I would break it down.
All right, thank you, Bill. Let's go to Forrest.
I think the single most important thing, and there's three things that I'm going to talk about. First is risk management. If you can manage your risk and not get wrecked with your entire portfolio, that is extremely, extremely important, because if you zoom out and take a look at total cryptocurrency market cap, it's moving up at an exponential pace. Oh, we're cutting my screen. I'll just cut over to total cryptocurrency market cap, right? Let's zoom out here. You can't make a ton of mistakes investing in an asset class that is rising this fast. Is if you manage your risk correctly, you stay patient over the long term. Yes, there are periods of downswings after a bull market, right? And you regulate your emotions. You don't FOMO in at the top, and you stay smart and patient and accumulate during the bear market. It's that simple. It's easier said than done. Regulating your emotions and staying patient is one of the toughest things to do in crypto. But if you do those two things and you just start managing your risk, diversify, right? Don't FOMO into Dogecoin. I know that's a lot of people make a ton of money that way in the short term, but those are the exceptions, not the rule, right? So those three things, I'll reiterate them one more time: risk management, patience, having a long-term time horizon, and regulating your emotions.
All right, thank you, Forrest. So I would say the top three skills. One is just being curious, right? Because you have to love doing this, right? And if you love doing this, it's not even a job. I mean, because think about this, right? At least with me, right? Here I am on a Sunday night talking crypto, right? But this is life. Like to me, crypto is life, right? So talking crypto, researching crypto, all this comes from a deep interest in learning and being part of the next wave of the internet, right? So when you frame it like that, that here we're on the ground floor of building the next internet, and we're going to find all these projects and make money investing in them, right? That curiosity will get you through, right? Because if you're not really curious, if you're just here for a quick flip, you'll get wrecked and you'll miss the real money, the real gains, right? Because in the bear market, when everybody's gone and closed up shop, that curiosity will keep you around to still do the work, to still find those projects. Then the next thing I would say is have a system. Have a system and stick to it, right? Whether it's value investing, whether it's trading, whether it's whatever. Find a system, stick to it, right? Because that system takes away the emotion, right? Most people get wrecked because they're trading with their emotions. That's not trading, it's just gambling. So if you're trading or investing, find a system, stick to it, because once you have a system and you stick to it, you can then see patterns that you normally can't find if you're just winging it, right? And then constantly reassess that system and try to make it better, evolve that system, right? So with us, we began with a spreadsheet. Now we have tokenmetrics. Now we have AI. Now we have code reviews. Our system is getting even more thorough with each year. So then last thing I would say is think long term. The real money is made long term. Don't view the market or your investments but by the month, by the quarter. Think long term, and that's tough to do, but that's where the real money is, right? So find projects with good value and stick to them long term. That's my system in a way, value investing. But long term is where the real money is made. Most people get wrecked because they're trying to make a quick buck. They're trying to chase meme coins, and in crypto, in general, with all investments, you don't have to win on every investment. And you don't, just because you see other people winning with meme coins or Dogecoin, doesn't mean you have to go chasing every single sexy investment. Find your bread and butter and stick to it, right? My bread and butter is value investing. I stick to it. Others could be trading. Whatever it is, stick to it and think long term. Great question. So let's actually check in here with the audience. Let us know what are skills you think are vital to be a successful crypto investor? Tell us down below in the comments. Somebody's saying crypto is space. Then housing market is going to crash soon. I'm saving up to buy a house on the dip. Okay, very interesting. Chuck says, it's like Howard Marks says, they are bold investors and they are old investors, but they are no old, bold investors. Well said, well said. I mean, Howard Marks, he's a legend. That's the book I think probably has inspired me the most. And that's to me the investing Bible. So I highly recommend anything by Howard Marks. His book is called, he has two books. The Most Important Thing, that's the best book, in my opinion, ever on investing. Then he has the other book, Mastering the Market Cycle. That one is also pretty good. But the other one, if you want to understand value investing, read that book. Okay. All right. Let's keep moving. So I'm just trying to sift through all these questions here. Okay, what makes you so confident about this being the bottom? All right, good question. Oh, I'm guessing you're talking to my response or Forrest's response. Forrest, what's your take on this?
Yeah, so I mean, I'll save the time of not going through the entire presentation from the beginning of the live stream, but basically, my thesis is twofold, right? As long as Bitcoin holds above its 50% retracement line, the market still believes that it can make a new all-time high. Also, it's just trading. The total cryptocurrency space, especially Bitcoin and Ethereum, are trading at much, much lower risk premiums than the rest of all the other asset classes out there. And I think that's just due to availability and the immaturity of the market, right? Not a lot of people are comfortable. Crypto's not at a point where it's mainstream enough for a lot of big investors or even retail investors to be confident and know where to buy crypto or what crypto projects to invest in. Whereas the S&P 500 is trading at a massive risk premium because everybody can just go and invest in the S&P 500. It's very easy to do, right? It's kind of quote unquote the thing to do, right? But I think ultimately, as the risk premiums on real estate, equities, gold, silver start to increase, investors are going to be looking for investments that have lower risk premiums with high reward. And I think crypto is in that space right now where it's growing extremely fast. Yes, it's volatile, but you get rewarded with a faster growth trajectory. So I think it's the asset that absolutely makes the most sense to invest in right now. And because of that, I think we're going to start to see a lot of investors turn to crypto.
All right, thank you, Forrest. Bill?
So when looking for a bottom, I like to look at conceptuals and visuals. What are the conceptuals? What are the concepts? The concept is this. People tried to crush crypto. Either people accidentally crushed it by liquidating in distress, or just the massive amount of FUD that was out there. You know, they tried to break the market. And like a basketball, they just held it underwater and they just said, they're going to push it down, push it down, push it down. But the thing is, conceptually, it didn't work. Yes, they pushed it down, but they haven't cracked it, right? It keeps holding. It doesn't trade great. It's not exciting at the moment, but it is exciting to watch it hold, despite the fact that you know that they're putting pressure on it. And then the visuals, okay, again, it's making a base. It's taking a stand, right? You can see it on the chart. Forrest has his work. I have mine. I keep stuff by hand. I actually drew Ethereum out, the entire up and down move twice, right? I can see it holding. I can see that level at 1707 being a low. They knocked on that door 3 times, and then they knocked on 2000 3 times in ETH. They can't knock it down. They can't hold the basketball underwater. So when you let go of that basketball, it's not only going to come to the surface, but it's going to fly out. Now, that said, are we sure in crypto about anything? No. I talk into this camera every Sunday going, oh God, hopefully I'm still relevant by Wednesday. That's how fast it can change. So, yeah, I have my view, but there is no certainty.
All right, thank you, Bill. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Okay, how is Elon manipulating the crypto markets to his advantage? Okay, very interesting question. Bill?
Well, I mean, he's got all the Bitcoin miners now looking to buy batteries because they're not only in mining, they're in marketing. So he did manage to shift that, and he essentially turned crypto into sort of like an auto PR machine where he can step in and start talking about it at any time and probably garner a bunch of attention. In other words, I would venture to say that as soon as Bitcoin gets running again, you're going to see Musk come in and say he's going to start buying again. Right. Meanwhile, I bet Michael Saylor and Novogratz are the ones that are just vacuuming up crypto from where it is now. But it's a publicity machine for him.
All right, thank you, Bill. Forrest?
Yeah, I 100% agree with Bill here. I think it has a lot less to do with price manipulation and benefiting his or lining his pockets. I'm sure he probably is invested in Doge and has done quite well manipulating the price or pumping it. I don't know if he is or isn't, but I do know he is an absolute master at staying relevant and staying in the spotlight. He's the guy that's sending Tesla vehicles into space. Right, he is an absolute master at marketing, and Bitcoin, crypto is the hot new thing in the tech industry, and he's staying relevant. He's using it to his advantage. So I agree with Bill. It's more about PR than it is about lining his pockets. He's the richest guy in the world.
All right, thank you, Forrest. Yeah, I mean, I think Elon is a genius. I mean, not just from a technology standpoint, but also from a marketing, as Forrest mentioned. But I see he's using the crypto market as an engine to market his company, make it sexy. But he also realizes that Bitcoin and crypto are the future. But he also sees that for this to go mainstream, Bitcoin might not be it. Right? I think that's why he's gravitated to Dogecoin, because Dogecoin was a fork of, I believe, Dash, and that was a fork of Bitcoin. But anyway, he gets that cryptocurrencies are the future, but you have to kind of Trojan horse the mainstream audience. That's why Dogecoin has done so well as a meme, because people they fall in love with the meme, and then they begin using it. Dogecoin is now used by big businesses, from Tesla talking about possibly accepting Dogecoin to go to space, to NBA games now taking Dogecoin, or baseball games. So how does a currency become a currency? The people have to accept it. So even though Dogecoin began as a meme, if it's being used in real life by businesses and people, it becomes a legitimate digital currency. And Elon Musk gets that. He gets that people don't really want to be bothered with the technology. That's why people love meme coins. Because, I mean, whether Dogecoin or others, at the end of the day, the currency is meant to be a utility for the people to use. And he gets that, and he's using that to Trojan horse people. So is that him taking advantage of the crypto market? I think so, but I think he's getting us exposure to a whole new wide audience. And in a way, it's what crypto needed. Because when he joined when Tesla bought Bitcoin, everybody loved Elon Musk. He was Jesus. But now he's questioning Bitcoin and causing people to doubt whether or not he believes in Bitcoin. But to me, I don't really care about that. I just care that he gets crypto, and he's exposing crypto to a whole new audience of people. Okay, all right. I think let's wrap things up. Let's go to last words. Bill, Any last words to our crypto family?
Yes. Don't sell your crypto to institutions. Don't give up. Yes, the coin you own may be down. Yes, something else may be up more than your coin, or maybe your coin is up and you're thinking about bailing because you've been living with 2 months of pain. Don't give up on crypto.
All right, thank you, Bill. Forrest?
Just going to reiterate what I said earlier in the earlier question. Be patient, have a long-term time horizon, right? If crypto does fall down and we see a flash crash or we see further consolidation into potentially a bear market, I don't think that's likely, but just be willing to wait it out. Be willing to be in it for the long term. The biggest mistake I see people make in the crypto industry is going away in a bear market and not continuing to find good projects and good investments in the bear market. That is absolutely the biggest mistake you can make. If you're sticking around in the bear market, making money becomes so much easier as long as you have that long-term time horizon. Just be patient, regulate your emotions. On the flip side, if things start getting crazy here, we know that Bitcoin in the total cryptocurrency space can move very, very fast towards the end of a market cycle. If we see that, regulate your emotions, not investment advice, but just be smart, right? If Bitcoin's trading at $150,000, is it the smartest time to buy? The answer is no, right? So we're not there yet, but things can move very, very fast here in the next 6 months, and regulate your emotions. Be patient, whether it's being patient for a buy or being patient for a sell.
All right, thank you, Forrest. Yeah, my last words are think long term. As Forrest mentioned, think long term. That's where the money is. Yes, it's nice to see all the coins going up and down and meme coins and all that, but at the end of the day, think long term. Stay here in a bear market. That's where the real money is made, and stick with us. Right? Not being in crypto is a financial crime, but we're always trying to evolve our research. Thanks to all of you. Right? Thank you for the support in the crowdfund. But we have a lot of great things in store. So stay tuned. And with that being said, thank you so much. And as we like to say, the moon is not the limit. To the moon and beyond. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Bye, Forrest.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Bill.
Life-changing money to a point where you can buy your mom and dad a brand new house, right? You can pay off your college loans. You can invest in your future, not have to work again, pursue your dreams, your passion, not have to have a job, work that 9-to-5 grind, right? Break the system, hack the system. This is what this show is all about.
They said relax but never retire. Feeling detached, never inspired. They told me relax but I can't retire. I'm feeling detached, never inspired. Like I would live on but never alive. You know the system, AM till 5. They try to say our jobs and give on. They living a lie. Now here's the mission, die or decide. The corporate life is so redundant when your freedom isn't free. It comes to being someone, just believe that you can be. And how can I have hunger when they tell me when to eat? How can I lead others when they tell me who to meet? Then they tell me when to come and then they tell me when to leave. They say how much to give and then forget how much I need. It's the precious to succeed with the lessons of the greed. I question who to be and saw this message is in me. I gotta know.
Life-changing money.
I wanna work for myself, I gotta work for myself, I gotta go.
You can invest in your future,
Bring
not have to work
spirits to the
again,
moon, put nerves on the shelf, I gotta know.
pursue your dreams, your
I
passion,
wanna stay free or want the safety, I gotta go.
break the system, hack the system.
Although they paid me,
This is what the
they
show is
never
all
made
about.
me. I wanna relax, forever retire. I wanna detach, I'm feeling inspired. They told me relax, but I can't retire. I gotta detach, gotta decide. They got me thinking I would live on, but never rely. You know the system, AM till 5. They try to say our jobs and give on. They living a lie. Now here's the mission, die or decide. You or die now. Hey, I will never be a wage slave. I gotta stay made. Hey, I used to see this in the 8th grade. Wasn't a day late. Hey, I found the love that I was seeking, life that I'm leading. Hey, now I can do this every weekend. cause I'm a free man. I was in Tokyo, riding the job wheel, the rodeo, dancing with the devil for payment. I couldn't do-si-do, but I was driven. The mission gave me an open road. Made a decision to whip him like it's a motor show. 6-figure slave, I was paid, wasn't well though. Heard of crypto underground, it became my railroad. Started making earnest money, it's for whom the bell tolls. Went from wishing for sales closed to sales. Now I can relax, forever retire. Now I'm detached, forever inspired. Now I can relax, forever retire. I had to detach, had to decide. And now I'm thinking I can live on and not just survive. You know this system, AM till 5. They try to say a job's a give on, they living a lie. I made a mission, die or decide, do or die now. Crypto retirement, yeah, that's where my mind went. Started thinking higher, now they can't hire my time spent. No, not retire like 65 when your job ends. More like an island, and if I'm by it, I buy it. Free travel, dealerships, we dabble. I reign like Leeds Castle, you reign like Seattle. We went from sheep cattle to eating beef and mackerel at feast. No lassos, just beliefs me in a saddle. You gotta know.
Like life-changing, like
You wanna work for yourself, you gotta work for yourself, you gotta go.
not have to work again.
Raise spirits to the moon, put nerves on the shelf, you gotta know.
Pursue your dreams, your
You
passion.
wanna stay free or want the safety, you gotta go.
This is what the show is all about.
Although they paid you, they never made you. Now we can relax, forever retire. Now we detach, forever inspired. Now we can relax, forever retire. We had to detach, had to decide. And now we know that we can live on and not just survive. We left the system, AM till 5. They try to say our job's a give on, they live in a lie. We made a mission, die or decide, do or die now.
I'm here to put you guys on and share all the different resources and tips I come across in my journey to making $1 million and making $1 billion, right? I'm trying to share this with the world for free. I'm not here to sell you some $2,000 course, ebook, webinar, whatever, right? I'm here to put you guys on the game for free, open source, right? The same model as blockchain, Bitcoin, or these cryptocurrencies. I'm here to share everything with you guys.
Token Metrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams. Learn more at tokenmetrics.com.